Hey everyone, welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in for this explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the real pedagogical building blocks of early reading. We're going to look under the hood of how we actually teach language to the youngest minds using a very specific, carefully designed lesson from elementary education explorers. We're unpacking Teacher Thayer's phonics lesson for the letter A. Now, I know it might look super simple on the surface, but as you're going to see, there is a brilliant, hidden architecture to how this stuff is presented to toddlers and preschoolers. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right out of the gate, look at how this lesson kicks off. Hello, begin reading with me. I am Zers, your English teacher. Notice how there is zero fluff here? It's a highly direct, interactive hook. Think about a young learner, right? A toddler whose attention is literally everywhere else. This exact phrasing immediately pulls them right into a structured classroom experience. It sets a clear expectation, boom, begin reading with me, and instantly breaks that barrier between the screen and the student.
Next up, the lesson defines the target, the core phonetic mechanism itself. Teacher Thayer's gives this vital phonics tip for the short A sound, and she does it by grounding an abstract letter in very familiar physical words. We're talking apple, cat, and hat. But she goes a step further, and this is absolutely crucial. She explicitly instructs that this is a bright, open sound. She isn't just telling them what it sounds like, she's actually giving them the physical cue of how their mouth should feel. Bright, open. It's really the perfect starting point for an early reader.
So, now we establish the vocabulary foundation. We get 5 isolated phonetic building blocks for this lesson. At, am, add, air, and ask. You really have to notice the constraint here. Keeping this list to exactly 5 target words, that is highly intentional. It ensures that the foundational information remains totally digestible for a toddler. I mean, you give them 10 words, they get overwhelmed, you give them 5 and they can master them. We are basically building the scaffolding, piece by piece.
Section 2. From micro to macro, sentences in action. We've got our isolated sounds, so now things are about to get delightfully whimsical and a bit more rhythmically complex as we move into the contextual application phase.
Okay, as we move into this contextual application, the language really starts to get rhythmically complex. Check out this first sentence. The cat sat at the mat with a hat. Look at that heavy, immediate repetition of the at sound. It anchors the core vocabulary in this highly predictable rhyming structure. By surrounding our target word at with rhyming words like cat, sat, mat, and hat, the lesson basically creates a sonic safety net, and that builds a young reader's confidence almost instantly.
Let's look at the next one, focusing on the word am. I am glad to jam with Sam and Pam. Notice the shift in pacing there? It's incredibly upbeat. It takes that am sound and weaves it into a very social, joyful scenario. We're reading about friends jamming together. It goes to show that reading isn't just some mechanical exercise. It's a way to express happy, relatable, real-world concepts.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the difficulty subtly ramps up. Add the red pad to the sad lad's bag. You feel that? This isn't just a simple rhyme anymore, it's slightly tongue-twisting. It literally forces the young reader to slow down and really enunciate their words. It is specifically designed to build phonetic agility by wrapping the target word add in a sequence that requires careful, deliberate pronunciation.
Moving on to the word air. The air was fair near the chair by the stairs. This sentence focuses so densely on the air sound cluster, and what I absolutely love about this one is how heavily it relies on environmental imagery. It creates a physical space in the mind of the reader, feeling the fair air, seeing the chair, noticing the stairs. Associating sounds with a spatial environment creates such a memorable context for the sound to live in.
And then, we get to this absolute gem for the word ask. Ask the ant to act with the axe on the apple. Come on, you have to appreciate the sheer absurdity of this. An ant acting with an axe on an apple. There's no way a kid doesn't find that hilarious, and honestly, that's entirely the point. Unexpected, vivid, and slightly silly imagery is a classic, highly effective educational tool to cement sounds into memory. A child is definitely not going to easily forget an ant wielding a tiny axe.
After that reading phase, the lesson transitions brilliantly into application. The student gets 2 distinct, actionable steps here. Number 1, draw a picture of the cat on the mat with a hat. And number 2, make your own sentence using the word air. Why does this matter so much? Because we're taking the learner from passive listening to active creation. They are taking complete ownership of the vocabulary by visualizing it and manipulating it all by themselves.
Section 3. Musical Reinforcement. Learning through rhythm. This is the final phase of the phonics lesson. A musical reinforcement song, explicitly designed to solidify everything they just learned through rhythm and rhyme.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how the song functions. Music is just a pedagogical powerhouse. Look at this side by side. The core vocabulary from earlier is seamlessly woven right into an engaging poetic rhythm. Add and lad return in the lyric red path for the lad who's feeling blue. Air and chair show up as fair air blows where chairs are new. And hey, that funny axe and apple imagery? It's right there in the song. And with axe on apple round, hear the A words make their sound. It is literally an auditory summary of the whole shebang.
As the song wraps up, it repeats this wonderful, encouraging mantra. Ask the questions, learn them all. A is awesome, hear us call. Guys, this is so much more than just phonics. It's an emotional anchor. The lesson ends by ensuring that the child associates learning the letter A with feeling awesome. It cements a deeply positive emotional connection to the very act of reading.
So, we've seen exactly how effectively Teacher Thayer's structures this, right? Moving from isolated sounds to silly sentences to joyful songs. The mechanics of early education really are just amazing when you break them down. But before we wrap up this explainer, I actually want to turn that source material prompt directly onto you. Yep, you. Can you make your own sentence using the word air? Seriously, give it a try. Play with the sounds and experience those building blocks of language for yourself. It really makes you realize just how incredibly complex and beautiful the architecture of early language learning actually is, doesn't it? Thanks so much for joining me, and keep exploring.